Hi everyone, I'm back with another video. So what I will show you today is how I made this manipulation. For that I'll head over to my website and I'll follow the text tutorial, which is already here on the website. As you can see, it has 13 steps including the final adjustments. So as usual I'll start over again, so I will close this. From the beginning, as you can see, the canvas size that I used, it's quite small compared to the other tutorials that I made, so I'll use this canvas dimensions. So I'll press Ctrl N to create a new document. I'll change the resolution to 300 pixels per inch and click OK. And I'll start with the background image. So I have here the folder with the stock images that I used. This is the image of the couple, but I have it extracted. Here I used the pen tool to extract the couple from the background. But let's start with the background, as I said. So select all with Ctrl A, edit, copy, close this, and press Ctrl V to paste this here. And as you can see, the background it's huge compared to the canvas that I have. So I'll press Ctrl T to load the free transform. Press and hold the Shift key in order to constrain the proportions, and click this control point here on the bottom right, and click and drag while I have the Shift key pressed. And now I'll make it just a bit bigger. And now just position this right here. I'll try to keep the horizon just a bit higher than the center line, because just for compositional purposes, just to keep the rule of thirds. See, the horizon it's close to the upper third, which is it's more appealing to the eye. So I'll get rid of the background and I'll rename this. Actually, let's see the name that I used, the landscape, for this layer. I'll try to follow the text tutorial. So if you get stuck somewhere, you can watch the text version. And I didn't do anything to the background. Well, I added some blur, but I'll show you how I did that a bit later. Now I will open the image of the couple, and I'll open the original one just to show you how I extracted this. As I said, I used the pen tool. What I did is just select the pen tool, then activate the paths option, and I just traced a path around the couple. I went all the way around, and then when I got to the first anchor point, I closed that, right click, choose make selection, click OK, and then just mask this like that. Of course, this is a horrible selection, but I just wanted to show you how I use the pen tool. You can use other extraction methods if you want to. I actually made a video for beginners showing you how to use the quick selection tool, and I'll put a link there under the videos, so that you can go to that tutorial if you want to see other extraction methods. So I'll open my other version. So Ctrl C to copy it and Ctrl V to paste it here, and I'll change the name of this layer to couple, and I'll place them, avoid placing them in the middle, just place them somewhere around here, and just about that. I want to have that glow of light close to the girl's head. And notice that I didn't pay too much attention here on the hair, and that's this part here, so don't worry too much about that. We're going to mask this anyway. So let's see what else. On step 2, I started creating that shatter effect. So first, create a layer mask for the couple layer. Select your brush, and you have to download some grunge brushes or splatter brushes, whatever messy brushes you have, or you can download from internet. And I don't remember which ones I used, but I used several several packs. So I'll select this one, for example. I don't want to save. Select this one, just make sure you make the brush smaller, and you paint with black so that you hide content, and just paint like that, just to destroy, so to say, the back of the girl. So then get another brush and do something like that. One brush set that you can use for that is Grunge Edge Brush by Anne Frost. I'll put the link there so you can download, and you can use this brush to just destroy the edges, just like that. And now I'll reset the brushes and select a normal brush and switch colors to white, because I want to fix this part here. Actually, I'll use this one and just paint like that. And then try with another brush set. I'll reset the brushes again, select a normal one, and paint with white on the layer mask so that I bring back the boy's head. Try to keep the boy untouched. Of course, you can do the opposite, create the shadow effect on the boy's body, but I prefer to do that on the girl's body, so that's just up to you. Okay, let's go to the next step. And on step 3, I added some light effects. So I'll first select this color code, and as you can see, I added inner shadow and outer glow. So double click to open the couples layer styles and activate inner shadow. Change the angle if you want, and change the distance to about 2 pixels. Let's see if I specify that here. Well, you can see the settings here, 6 pixels and 27. And the angle that I used for that is 30 degrees. And change the blend mode to color dodge, and the color that I used for that is the one that I just copied. Okay. Then I also added some outer glow. Let's see the settings. 26% opacity and 169 pixels for the size. And color dodge. And the color that I'll use is just a color, something like that, and click OK. So let's see a before and after. It just adds a bit of glow around the couple. And then I started making some adjustments to this, and I used 3 adjustment layers: color balance, photo filter, and some color fill. And you can see here the before and after. So I'll do that just now, and someone's knocking there. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's really annoying, and I cannot do anything about it, so I'm sorry if you hear that. So let's add the color balance. I'll use the same settings. So for the shadows, 6 and 12. 12 for the midtones, -5 and 6. 5 and 6, and for the highlights, 13, 10, and -10. And okay. As you can see, I use this as a clipping mask. So right click on it and choose create clipping mask. The next adjustment that I added is a photo filter, and let's see the settings for that. I used an orange color at 58%, density 58. I'll leave the color as it is. It's pretty much the same color that I used on the original. and again as a clipping mask. So right click and choose create clipping mask. It's too red. Let me desaturate that color a bit. And the last adjustment that I use is a solid color, again as a clipping mask. So right click and choose create clipping mask, or press the Alt key and put the mouse between the two layers, and you can see that icon changing, and that means you can create a clipping mask. And the color that I used for this, well, this is the color that I used for the solid color. So double click here to open the color picker and paste that there, and change the blend mode to hue, and let's see what opacity I used, 75%. Okay, so now they blend a lot better with the background. Next, I created a new layer, again as a clipping mask, and I don't know the name, I think I named it Backlight or something like that. And I used a soft brush and a medium brush size. Let me make this icon smaller. I like it more. And let's see what color I used. Yeah, you can see the color code here. So I'll change my foreground color to this dark orange color, and I think I used the screen blend mode. Yeah, so change the blend mode of this layer to screen, use this color, and just paint along the edge of the girl's back, just like that, to create that glow there. And after that, what I did is just reduce the saturation of the whole scene because it's too colorful. So I created a hue saturation adjustment layer, this time not as a clipping mask, so be careful with that. And I reduced the saturation to -20, and you can see it reduces a bit the luminosity and the colors. On step 6, I created that depth of field effect, and I'll show you how to do that just now. If you're not sure you will like that, just create a duplicate of the background layer, just in case you don't like this effect, because this is a destructive technique, and if you turn this into a smart object, you will not be able to apply the lens blur filter. I don't know why, but you cannot apply that to smart objects. So first, duplicate your layer. The way I create a depth of field is using the lens blur filter and using the gradient tool, so I can make gradient selections. What you do is just click this, you have to enter the quick mask mode, so click this icon here, I'll go to select and choose edit in quick mask mode. Then select the gradient tool, make sure you have black to white, and also make sure you don't have this reverse option activated, and click here, somewhere about here, because I want to keep this part here in focus, and then just blur the background gradually as it moves there into the distance. So I'll click here, press the shift key and drag up, and the shift key is just to create perfect lines. You can see that you can create 45-degree lines or just straight lines like that, and drag to about the height of the woman's shoulder and let go. When you have this kind of red selection, click this icon again to exit the quick mask mode, and now you have this top part selected. With the selection active, go to filter, blur, and choose lens blur. And I'll add about 12 pixels of blur. You can add 10 or 12 pixels, whatever you want, and click OK. And if you take a look at this now, you will see that this part here is in focus, and from here it starts to add that blur gradually, so that creates a nice depth of field effect. The reason why I added this depth of field is just to add more emphasis on these people here. Okay, let's move on. Here you have all the steps. So first create the quick mask, then create the selection, and then apply the filter. So on step 7 I started to add those particles here, and I used this pack that I used in many of my tutorials. So let's do just that. I'll create a new layer under the couple layer actually. So I'll go to my stock folder and look for this particles pack, and I think I used this one, the particles 023 from the pack. I'll open that, select all, copy, and just paste it on this new layer that I created. And of course I'll have to make this a lot smaller, and I'll rotate it just a bit to make it even smaller and place it there. And this black particles don't look too nice right now. You need to add some texture to it, and the way I did that is I selected the couple layer, press and hold the Alt key, click here on an empty space and click and drag, and I removed the layer styles, and I also removed the layer mask, and I'll delete it. And I will make this copy, I'll turn it into a clipping mask for the particles. I'll name this particles. This is the particles layer, and I'll right click here and choose create clipping mask. And what I will do is select the move tool and just move this just a bit like that. Not too much though. I don't want to have the hands there, but let's see what I can do. Actually, I'll move the particles just like that and move the couple image like that. So now I have some texture there. It looks a lot better than this. So make the couple as a clipping mask for the particles. And I repeated that a couple of times, but I think I used another particles stock. You can use any particles from here, but I'll just duplicate this one and flip it so that I have another distribution of particles here. And then just duplicate the couples copy again, put it above the particles 2 layer, and again create clipping mask and move it around just a bit. Like that, and now I have some particles there. I'll create a group here which I will name particles, and you can see it before and after. Then I created more particles using the brush tool, so I'll create a new layer and select the brush tool, and I have this explosion brushes set, and I used some of the brushes here to add more particles, and this time I added black particles. But let's see which one. Yeah, I like this one. So select this one and just click a few times just to add a few more details. And I like this one as well. You know, just add a few details. And I'll create a layer mask for this layer. I'll name this brush particles. And I created a layer mask because I will reset brush it. Well, actually I'll use the same brush and change the color to black because I want to remove some of the particles from here. I don't like that there. So you can see before and after. It just adds a bit more detail. And I'll use yet another one from here and add more particles on the bottom. Right there. Of course you can use a dark, you can sample a color from the girl's girl's dress and paint with that color if you want to. So that's how I made the particles. That's maybe the most difficult part of this tutorial, especially if it's your first time doing this, but with a bit of practice and understanding how to create clipping masks, you can do it. So let's go to the next step. On step 7b I explain how I created that clipping mask for the particles to add texture. And on step 8 is just adding more particles using the brush set that I just used. On the next step, I started adding more light effects. I created a new layer above the landscape. So let's open that lens flare I have from my pack. You can download the entire pack with all the lens flares, but I use this one, the lens flare 8. From that pack. So I'll copy this. I will create a new layer above the landscape and press Ctrl V to paste that there. And you can see it's really big, so I'll make it smaller and change the blend mode to screen. Let's see where I can put that. I want to have this somewhere where this glow of light, I guess that's where the sun is setting, so I'll place that there. And that's how I have that effect there. On step 10 I added more effects, and I used this fire stock because I wanted to use these particles that you can see here. So select the top part and go to edit, copy, or press Ctrl C to copy it and paste that above or below the lens flare, it doesn't matter. And first change the blend mode to screen, and now you can make this a bit smaller. As you can see, it's really big, and you have those particles around, and you can place this wherever you want. I think it's right there. On step 11 I added 2 glows of light, and I used this color, which I'll copy. So select the top layer on your layer palette, create a new layer. I'll name this soft glows, and I'll change the color to using that code that I just copied. Click OK. Select the brush tool, and I'll reset the brushes because I want a soft brush. And let's see, about 400 pixels, maybe a bit smaller, 370 pixels for the radius. Change the blend mode to screen, and just click once here and once here, and added those glows of light there. And let's go to the next step. On step 12 I created a stamp, and you can see the commands, the shortcut for the Mac users. For PC user is Shift, Control, Alt, and E. But first make sure you have the top layer selected, and use that combination, and you create this stamp with all the layers merged. An alternative to using this shortcut, select the entire canvas and go to Edit, Copy Merged, and then press Ctrl V to paste, and you get the same result. And once I had the stamp there, I went to Image, Adjustments, Variations, and I added more cyan, and click OK on the midtone stat right here, and click OK. And then I don't remember the blend mode that I used, so I used the blend mode Lighten at 70% opacity. So let's name this more cyan, change the blend mode to Lighten, and the opacity to 70%. So you can see it takes away some of the redness there and adds a bit more of cyan. And on the last step, I created another layer, another stamp, using the same keyboard shortcut, so Shift, Control, Alt, and E to create another stamp, and I'll name this Final Stamp, and I'll turn this into a smart object. If you cannot do that, don't worry, this is just a personal preference, because I will add now a filter. So go to Filter, Render, Lens Flare. Now I want the lighting effect, so Filter, Render, Lighting Effects. And I always like to apply this filter to smart objects, just in case I want to change the settings later. So you can check the settings here, but maybe they will not work the same for you. So change the intensity to about 13. Play with the radius. Try to keep it round, not squeezed like that. Try to keep it round. If you want to make it smaller, use the bottom control point, but try to keep it fairly bigger than your canvas. And then play with the focus. If you want to have more vignetting effect, use a smaller, a narrower focus. I like to use about 60 or 65. Then if you want to have more or less contrast, use the material. If you set it on metallic, you have a high contrast image. If you want less contrast, use more plastic, and just click OK. So I don't really like how it looks, so that's why I use the smart object. Now I just double click here, and I'll set the material to more metallic, and maybe make the radius bigger because I want more light. Click OK. So you can see a before and after. It just makes the image it adds a bit of a vignetting here on the corners. Maybe I'll increase the radius just a bit and increase the exposure to 1. Click OK. So that's all for today. I hope you liked the tutorial. If you want to see the text tutorial, head over to my website, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'll have more tutorials coming up. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.